So how can bank-owned properties be so lucrative? So I'll tell you a story based on my own personal situation, right? So back prior to the financial crisis, back in 2006, 2007, houses in Port St. Lucie, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes were going for over $200,000. And then the financial crisis happened and there's a lot of inventory coming on the market. I remember at one point in time, just to put it into perspective, today there's about 1,500 homes for sale on the MLS. Back then in the foreclosure crisis, there were over 7,000 homes for sale. And back then, the market was a lot smaller than it is right now. So there's just a ton. You would go on streets and almost every single house on the street was listed for sale, right? I saw these houses going on the MLS and the banks would put them on the MLS more and more. There'd be more and more inventory and they kept lowering the prices. And eventually the prices got down to ridiculous levels. It was around March of 2009 and I looked and there were houses that were listed for $50,000 in the MLS. And I called up an REO agent and I said, I want you to make an offer of $35,000 on that house. And he said, oh, I don't think the bank's going to accept that offer. I said, well, let's just make that offer anyway. And so we submitted that offer in. He called me back an hour later and said, you're not going to believe it, but the bank accepted your offer. And I said, well, then why don't you go in and make some more offers on all of these lower price stuff that's less than 60. And I landed up buying a bunch of houses for like $36,000, $37,000. And those houses today are worth $300,000, right? So when you look at things like, let's say, for example, one widely viewed statistic is the Case-Shiller index. And so that's looking at housing prices. But the problem with that index is looking at housing prices throughout the United States. So it's including places like North Dakota and Buffalo, which have absolutely nothing to do with the housing market in Florida. And in addition to that, it's only using retail sales. So what I mean by that is it's only using houses that are purchased with a mortgage lender, with a survey, with an appraisal. So it's not factoring in these houses that you could pick up for $36,000, right? And so when they tell you, hey, the market went down in 2007 to 2010 by 30%, I say, well, it may have gone down on a retail basis by 30%. So a $200,000 house may have declined by 30%. That would be declining down to 140. But I'll tell you that that same $200,000 as an REO went for $35,000 or $40,000. And that was a fraction, right? If you do the math, that's 30 cents on the dollar, right? So peak to bottom, I'm looking even right now in the markets that we're in right now, and I'm seeing markets that we're already seeing softening, quite substantial. I'm not seeing it in hot markets like Miami, although I am seeing prices down in Miami quite significantly. But where I'm seeing real weakness and softening is in the west coast of Florida, south of Orlando, areas like Kissimmee, Brevard County. I'm seeing prices down a solid 30% from where they were just a few months ago, right? So just maybe 6 or 12 months ago. So there's opportunities there, and you have to understand that if a market where a house was listed at 300 and then you see houses at 225 and then you go on the MLS today and houses are 175, and that's not an REO, then I've got to ask you, if you're mailing postcards to that neighborhood, what are you picking those houses up for? If there's an REO that's being dumped or a short sale that's being dumped by a bank, what are they going to go for? So I've got 2 students of mine that purchased rentals for $90,000 and $107,000 in that market in Brevard County. Rentals over there for Section 8 are $1,600 a month. So that's a slam dunk, and that's now, and it's only going to get better. So learn how to buy bank-owned properties. Come to my Bank-Owned Properties Bootcamp. It can really benefit you.